me here in front of you. For those of you that I haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name's Jennifer Lineweaver. I joined North Stonington in October. I can tell you that we are on track to sign the grand list on time this year. So we will have a signed grand list by January 31st. So all I'm able to give you tonight is very preliminary numbers of where we feel like we're heading. It looks like we're going to have an overall increase in the grand list, hovering somewhere between 49 to 51%.
49 and 51?
Okay. We did get notification on Monday that Governor Lamont signed an order where we have to change our PA 490 values. So that is going to cause reduction. And there's a couple other things that we're finalizing in terms of exemptions. That's kind of the last piece that we do. So until that's why I can't give you an exact, but overall, that's what we're looking at for real estate within a percentage or two.
Okay, what is that? What's the number at 49% in as far as total assessed value?
I'm hesitant to give that to you because I can't, these are all preliminary numbers until we sign. And since the state gave that directive on Monday, I have not had the chance to go in and rerun real estate numbers.
Can you explain what the governor's?
Yep. So every 5 years, the Department of Ag, in coordination with OPM, releases PA 490 values for farm, forest, and open space. This year was a new year. The values went up astronomically in several different categories, which caused a lot of concern. So a lot of farmers, municipal leaders, whatnot, have met with the state and Governor Lamont's response, based off of my understanding, which is that they only got a 4% response rate from the surveys that they sent out. So as opposed to continuing with the 2025 values, the state felt it was more prudent to at least just have a moratorium. Let's keep a freeze on it until we can get a working group together, get all the stakeholders involved to come up with reliable data statewide. So in lieu of that, until that happens, his directive is to continue using the 2020 values.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So would I be correct? And if we had you back at our February 4th meeting, we would have the number, because we use it obviously.
Yep.
As it's the first piece to our budgetary puzzle.
Yep. I would never want to give you a number that's subject to change. Right. So I can absolutely come in front of you the first week of February and let you know this is a reval year. So I will be giving you before BAA figures and after BAA figures.
Okay.
And you should expect that in the year of a reval, typically about 2% come out to appeal. So in an interim year, you might not have much activity in the way of the Board of Assessment Appeals. But this year I would caution, you'll have a solid number the first week of February, but you'll want to really wait until after the BAA has finished their processes, because there could be substantial adjustments in a reval year.
Is there any sort of benchmark that allows us to make some assumptions, or is it just like wait and see?
Like I said, I would, there's a lot of North Stonington is in PA 490.
Now, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the second part that you said. So when you say in a reval year, 2% will appeal, right?
So typically what most towns are seeing right now, towns that have revalued in the past year or two, they're seeing about 2% come through the hearings process.
Yeah. I'm just curious, like, so obviously we start doing some modeling so that we can start preparing for budget season, not knowing what the appeal process will net. I'm just curious if there's any sort of benchmark that can guide us in making some fair assumptions.
I would say just use the amount that I give you once I sign. I would use that with the understanding that there is going to be an adjustment.
Most likely down.
Right. But I can't, there's no way to know how many people or how the BAA will decide what properties are coming through. So there's really no way to estimate, well, you should estimate off of the number will change. Maybe the grand list will change 2% or something like that. There's no way for me to kind of forecast for you guys what that would be.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry, and this may be the same question, so forgive me. Do we have any indication about additions to the grand list? A dollar value of just new homes, new businesses?
That's something that I could run, but I could run that once the grand list is filed.
Okay, so if you're coming back at our next meeting, that's a number I'd like to know. I'm just curious if you can run
Yeah,
that.
to Gary's point, that we would like to have that. Generally speaking, we have obviously the overall number. What is, because we like to tell the town during the budgetary process, what's the main driver other than the reval that is hopefully increasing the grand list, because it tells us, we're a place that businesses want to be, that people want to come, build homes here. So if you could give us just probably three things, what commercial properties are new out of the grand list, additions, residential properties, and how is the motor vehicle tax looking as compared to last year or the past couple of years?
Yeah, if you want to email me exactly what data you want, I can compile that for the next time I come.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Does anybody else have any questions?
No, we're good. Thank you,
so much.
Jennifer.
Want to say thank you. You really stepped into it this year and you've done a great job.
We're doing our best. Thank you very much.
All right, Christine, Board of Ed.
While Christine's coming up, Mike, just so you know, when the PA 490 values came out, there was a line around the building for her.
I bet. No, I've heard she's done yeoman's work. Welcome
evening.
back.
Thanks. I said, I feel like I'm going to a congressional hearing. Thanks for having us tonight. And I know it's been a couple of months. Couple of things that we've provided this evening are the answers to your questions regarding the cybersecurity incident. So hopefully you've had a chance to look at those. If not, we can go over them in more detail. I'm happy to do that. We also have our most recent non-lapsing report and also a detailed breakdown on the cyber incident expenses as well. Our current forecast for this year's budget is current through October 31st. It doesn't mean we don't have other reports. The Board of Ed just has not reviewed them yet. We're putting our new finance committee is meeting for the first time next week, and they'll be going over current reports, and we'll be able to get those to you shortly if they get approved. Do you want to start with questions? Where do you want to start? I guess it's up to you guys.
I think, why don't we start with the cyber response estimated expenses as of January 9th, 2026. And then we can get into your answers to questions and, everyone will have a chance to follow up if they deem it necessary.
Okay, perfect. So this is where we think we're going to land. We don't anticipate any additional expenses. And right now we've got about 39,000 outstanding still left to come through in invoices. So our total that we're thinking that event cost us was about 239,540. All right. We anticipating being able to cover, you can see what was covered under operations, what was under non-lapsing, and we anticipate being able to cover the rest out of non-lapsing as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically this is let's ask for an appropriation situation.
No, we will not be asking for an appropriation for this.
Okay.
And I think that kind of goes to your first point that your concern was to assess the fiscal impact to the risk of the town, and we don't anticipate there being any.
Did insurance cover any of it? Is
We're
that,
waiting to hear from them. We've filed with them. They've asked for additional documentation. We provided that and now we're waiting to hear.
are you hoping to like put that back in the non-lapsing or?
You
what-
can't put it into non-lapsing. The only thing that can go into non-lapsing is excess from the prior year's budget. It would go back into the operating.
Okay.
Any kind of time frame on that or?
We've just been told they're looking at it and assessing, you know, Kathy keeps in contact with them on a regular basis. You know, we're hoping soon, but it's insurance. We know how quick
They
that
didn't-
moves.
They didn't give you a letter challenging your claim. You have not been put on notice of a claim.
Put on notice, no,
Challenge.
no. We've been asked for additional documentation, but we've not been put on notice, no.
All right, so no additional costs contemplated, right?
Not over what we've got. We've pretty much closed out at this point. The telephone service where people can call in to get signed up for monitoring, credit monitoring, that's open until the end of January. Most of that activity has fallen off significantly. That usually happens immediately. We haven't seen much activity with that now, so we think we'll be able to close that out at the end of January and have a pretty good feel for what that expense looks like.
If in a perfect situation, how much would you anticipate getting?
$100,000.
$100,000 from the insurance
Yes,
company?
that would be our hope with with $1,000 deductible. So be it'd be $100,000 payout, but $101,000 claim.
And this is the total cost associated with this. There are no other actions underway, any action against the school by individuals for
No,
lawsuits of any kind?
no.
So this is it.
This is, from our understanding, this is where we are. This is it. There's nothing hanging out there that we're not telling you about or that we haven't captured in this report.
Christine? Oh. Christine?
Yes?
Maybe not. Maybe it's working, maybe it's not. Under the Learn, you have a October, then you have a November. Is there a December and January fee coming up of $5,000, 40, 48, 50?
Which,
Right here. Learn Tech November, Learn Tech October. I'm assuming that's a monthly fee.
October up to 11/10. So this is what we totally anticipate the final expense being with Learn to help us through the cyber incident.
Okay, so it'll stop.
It should stop, right?
Okay.
We're still using Learn for other things for IT, but this is what we anticipate their load to be for the cyber incident.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I have a question, but it's not on these particular questions, so I'll wait to make sure.
Okay. Does anyone here, I know that there were questions about grants and how that all works and whatnot. The grant accounting treatment is part of the questions. Does anyone have any specific questions about the grant process and how it works with their financials?
So there was additional grant questions sent. Were those forwarded on with the examples that I provided in the deck?
The screenshots.
The grant accounting treatment questions or?
I put together a couple of slides with screenshots that I provided to the Board of Finance. For those sent on to the Board of Ed as illustration to,
I
this.
thought so. Winona?
I don't recall getting screenshots of anything.
All right, if I ask a question while you're looking.
Yes, please.
Christine, where you at here? I gotta find
Carl.
it again. I'm sorry. Please describe preliminary factors from anticipated special education costs. I believe the past couple of years when we asked anything of the outside of our outside of our school with the people coming in with special problems were to be rebuilt to that school or system. Is that still there?
That is correct.
Okay, so some of these on here that you're needed, each child is different, and I realize you can't tell me who, what, or where. Some of those funds will be coming back for your special education?
Any funds for out-of-district children for special education will be billed accordingly.
Okay, so the number that you originally gave us included all them originally?
Yeah, it
Okay.
included any,
So some of that will be down.
well, if we're underfunded for special education, that's taking into account monies that would be coming in. So that's a real number of what we would be underfunded for special education.
Okay, so all that just so I understand, all of that you haven't got enough money there for are for basically everybody that's here in town. The extra money that you need.
Right.
Okay.
And,
That's all you
and
need.
that's correct, right? Yes, yes, because
Thank
we
you.
would be charging out for the
For the other
additional.
addition.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
To answer your question, Winona, well, I'm gonna,
And we have been talking about maybe looking at the last meeting, we talked about the grant funding and maybe going back to showing it how we used to show it in the budget, if it's clearer for everybody. We didn't subtract it out of the budget and then show our bottom line budget. It was actually a separate page for grants, if everybody'd rather see it that way. But the Board of Ed's kind of weighing that out and deciding how they want to do that. We liked showing everything into the budget of all of our expenses and then showing where our grant funds came in and then showing the bottom line as our final budgetary ask. But if it seemed like that was a little bit confusing, so we're certainly looking at other ways as well.
I think what might be helpful, and I'll speak and then my board can disagree or agree if they want to, is just understanding the mechanics of each column and kind of just walking through it, because everybody kind of spreadsheets slightly differently. So I think if they can, if I think like Winona's screenshots were just really to help clarify, like sometimes we use the same word but mean different things, like just mechanically, how is it working? So we understand. And then once we have that like shared understanding of how it works, it'll make the reviews that we do easier because we'll understand how you did it. So
Okay, for the
I'm good
grant
with-
funding, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
or any of it, even just like some of it is not always like intuitively obvious just by looking at the headers, what we're looking at. So if we could maybe, and we have some new board members, so maybe if we could just have like a little tutorial, everybody
Okay.
aligns and knows what the header items are and how you're adding in or subtracting out grant value. Like if we go through those basics,
Okay.
I think that might be helpful. I don't know what you guys think, but
I think. First of all, when you sent that to me, I said, that was on the 7th when we had a meeting. And I said, we can talk to them about that tonight, but then we ended up not having them because Christine was stuck in some island somewhere in the Caribbean,
It's not as great as it sounds, I promise.
being unfiscally sound.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if we can bring it up on the screen, I can try to send it to Suzanne right now.
Can you, I guess I'm not in a position to answer to that since I haven't seen it. So if you don't mind sending it to me, then we can do the same thing and respond with.
And I think part of it will be if to Sarah's point, kind of get a tutorial when we have the reports and stuff that we're going to be looking at for budget season. How are the grants
Okay.
listed, and how are they subject to change? And
Okay.
just-
So we can really just put in like a whole section just on the grant funding.
yeah,
What things, like when I think back to like when we did COVID, right? We had some additional grants for COVID. So we would put some specialists in there, knowing that if we can't continue them in our regular operating budget, those positions would go away, for example. So we could certainly show what things we plan on funding with that grant funding.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be part of the budget, just as it's not part of it's in the budget, but it's pulled out of the budget. We don't, we're not doubling up on it by any sense. So.
right. It's an
Yeah, so we can-
expense, it's an expense that you guys are listing that you need. You're saying, all right, we want to fund this position and we expect it to be covered by the
by
grant.
the grant. Exactly.
And if it doesn't, then you either have to eliminate a position or cover that in some other fashion.
Exactly. But we can certainly make that clearer if that,
I sent what
helps.
Winona had showed, because it was just a question of like certain reports would show, 4 grants, then it's down to 3 grants. Is that right?
well, it depends
Winona?
on when the grant money comes in too. It's not like it just comes in on a consistent basis. So sometimes the grant funding and also grants are spread out over 2 years. So oftentimes the first year of a grant will be a little bit heavier reimbursement rate than the second year of the grant. So when we're looking at certain positions or certain funding, we have to determine what will we take in year 1 of that grant and what will we carry over to year 2 of that grant.
Yeah.
So you'll see in the,
I sent it to Christine and
yeah,
Troy.
you'll see in the screenshots that I provided, I'm only looking at August, September, October,
Okay,
because those are the only months that we had
right?
from 2025.
Okay,
And the grant section of the
Mhm.
financial reports, each of those months, the reporting is different. The line items are different and the numbers are different.
okay,
And so it was illustrating that they don't look the same and trying to understand what the numbers represent and how they're being reported for
Okay.
that specific section.
okay. So we'll get you that
Yeah.
detail on that
Yeah, it's
grant
much
piece.
more specific than, but I think there's a general overview that would be great to have when we talk
Yep.
about these items. And then specific questions.
And
that-
timely, I mean, we just had our audit report. Clearly, things are working out. So
Agreed.
I totally understand wanting to get you that detail and we'll work on that. But
Right.
it's nice to see that we had a nice audit this year as well.
Exactly. I think that can't be stressed enough that both the town and the Board of Ed had clean audits with no material issues, which is what we want to see. But, well, no, I apologize. I meant that was sent out and I thought we were going to talk about it on the 7th and I completely forgot about it. So I apologize. I guess, the finances that we have, they're through October.
Yes.
Okay. And based on that, just your general assessment, we're on track on, I know it's early in your school year. But general impressions are you're just on track with everything.
Well, I mean, you'll see where we are short and where we're over a little bit. We're trending positively for medical insurance. We're trending a little bit positive on contract negotiation because our teacher contract, we didn't need as much legal. And then obviously our special education is not trending positively.
Which is completely unpredictable depending on who comes into the school.
Absolutely, yeah, an uncontrollable thing and something we really don't like to talk about too much in public session.
Understood.
So we're working to that number. We're continuing to work to that number, which is one of the reasons that we took last year's excess and put it into the non-lapsing because we want to do everything we can to avoid any kind of appropriation. At this point, we feel strongly that we should be able to do that. For this year's budget,
So speaking of last year's excess, the Board of Finance had been provided with 2 different versions of fiscal year ending June 2025 financial reports, and neither of them sync up to the now audited financial statements of what was the balance that was placed into the non-lapsing account.
right?
So do you plan to provide the Board of Finance with a third revision of the June year-end financials that would have a clear and matching financial statement that matches the audited financials?
So I think what you're referring to is the first June 30th report was just a year-to-date report. That wasn't the fiscal year final. It was the June 30th report. There's a lot more that goes on beyond June 30th. And I think we've explained that before. And then there's a final fiscal year final. And knowing that the audit, we always knew that we didn't have an exact number of what was going to get carried over to a non-lapsing. And even when we had motions of how much money are we going to put into the non-lapsing, we never put a dollar figure on it because we never know exactly what that number is going to look like until the audit is complete. So we don't go back and redo finals. We wait for our audit, and that is our final numbers that we work off of. We don't redo our year-end reports, to my understanding. Am I correct, Kathy? I don't want to speak for you, but so now we are taking that final number that the audit came through with, and I'll have to look at what the difference is. I don't think it was significant. And then
It's
we-
$150,000, I think. It's actually 200,000.
no, I know what the final number is.
No, the difference between the second June report that we received and what's in the audit.
So I think
is-
initially we had approved to send a great portion of that back to the town. So that's why in the non-lapsing report, it's going to look different. And then we went back in, I believe it was November, and voted to change that and put all of the money that was left over into the non-lapsing. So the non-lapsing report is going to have different numbers based on what we were deciding to do with the year-end spend.
So, okay, I'll rephrase my question. So the second June report that was provided is June 30th, 2025 financials, which are the year-end financials. And the data that's in here, are you stating that this is the final financials by line item that you guys are sticking with for your year end?
I'm going to have to pull the report and I'll talk to Kathy about it. I have not, we don't typically go back and redo a final, because this is what we provided to the auditor. For us to redo our year-end financial, it doesn't make sense to me. We'd be messing with an audit.
But, okay, so then but the part that is not hanging together is these numbers do not match the value of what the audit says you put into the non-lapsing account.
I'll have to look at that deeper. I don't have that report in front of me to
I-
answer you
would I be-
accurately.
Would I be correct in saying like at some point after, I mean, obviously you can't do the year end until the year end happens. And then
And
there's,
way beyond, because we have invoices still coming in and all of that. I think we have until August to clear out any last invoices. So if we're looking at our June 30th report, there's still some invoices hanging out, some things that we haven't taken care of completely. So that's where that final
Yeah, and we
report
didn't
comes
get
out.
this, just to be clear, we did not get this report from you in June. This report came from the Board of Ed months later. So this
Okay.
was not provided in June. This was
Okay.
provided months
Which
later.
it
It
will
was
be.
dated June. I'm just stating that the balance that's reported on this June file,
Mhm.
the final dollar amount that's here that was reported as going into the non-lapsing account is not the same number that we just saw in the audit report.
I don't think she gave
So
us a
if
number
there
in the
is
audit
a
report.
different file that was provided to the auditors, if that file could be provided to us.
All right, I'll look into that report, Winona. Like I said, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't want to just guess at what that is, but I'm sure there's a very clear answer. Again, we've got a very clean audit, so I'm sure we
Winona,
can provide what you're looking for there.
can you just like share the difference? Like what's the June audit number and what's the June statement number and the audit number? Which one is that?
There were two, so I have to make sure I'm telling you the right number.
Would I be correct in saying, in November, which is obviously well after the, you have till August or whatever to finalize all your invoices. As late as November, you're still working out the final
So this was sent in
Uh,
September.
numbers that are going to go into non-lapsing, and at some point between November and this audit, you provided them with a final accounting for fiscal year 24-25 that was approved within the audit. Is that correct?
Right. So we never had a solid number for the end of year until audit is completed. So we provided them all the documents they were looking for. We have until December 31st, as the auditor mentioned, to provide those documents. So when you listen to our motions, when we're approving what's going into non-lapsing, we don't use a solid hard number because we don't know what that number exactly is
Okay.
until everything has cleared out.
Okay.
And when you look at the non-lapsing reports, they were different because we had approved doing it one way and then the cyber incident occurred and we knew we had a little bit of a financial issue there. And so we went back in and approved doing it differently. So if we're looking just at the non-lapsing report, that will absolutely be different because we changed those numbers.
I'm looking at an email from Troy dated September 16th, 2025, with an attachment called 6/30/2025 Financials Board of Ed End of Year. That is the second June 30th file that we received. And there are two sets of data at the end of these. Neither of these match the 246 number that's in the audit. I believe that it's 218,273 looks like it's the deposit number, but this does not include the grant at the bottom of $177,000. So I'm not sure because there is no total sum. The previous June 30th number was around 50,000.
And that wasn't a year-end report. That was a June 30th report, just to let you know. That was not fiscal year ending. That was just where we were at the end of June. And there's, again, 2 more months of closeout to be done.
You said something, I just caught my ear. You changed the methodology that you account for the non-lapsing account?
We changed what we can put up to 2%
Right.
into the non-lapsing.
Mhm.
And initially, the board had decided we weren't anticipating to have that extra money. And so initially they said, we're going to return it to the town. We said we were going to return it to the town. Then we started getting the cyber incidents. So we were like, so we have 2 choices, right? Return it and then go to the town for appropriation, which has to go to a town meeting, which has to get approved. Or
Hold it.
hold it, cover, and you'll see our cyber expense was 239. Hold it and take care of it internally. And that's what we chose to do.
Okay,
So
so
there were
you didn't-
differences.
You didn't change your methodology of reporting.
No,
That's
No.
Kind of what I heard.
No, no.
no, no,
It was
sorry.
just, all right. Good. That's
Yep.
clarified. Thank you.
Yep. And Winona, I'll get those answers for you.
I would imagine.
And I know we have the answers and they'll be clear. I just don't have that report right in front of me. So,
So just going forward, if, after the school year ends in June and our fiscal year ends June 30th, that's how our mindset works, is the end of fiscal year.
right.
With regard to your expenditures and possibly revenue grants or whatever, those things often do change after June 30th. So the final report for year end, if we want to rely on something, is based upon the audit numbers. Would that be correct?
That would be correct. The other thing we talked about is not providing a June 30th financial report or going through and finalizing that until we have our year-end report so that you're not getting 2 reports dated June 30th
Okay,
to clear, so that
sounds-
you don't have the confusion with that.
okay. Okay. Any additional questions?
No.
I just didn't know if Gary had an additional question. He's on microphone maintenance. All right, well, thank you, Christine, and again, welcome back, and look
Thanks.
forward to working with you guys on the next budget season and learning about the grant process and how that works and with regard to reports. I know there was some question about how the format of your reports that you provide to us. I don't know what software you guys do, and I know Kathy has, and I think we like this, is that, you know, you have things, and if there is a weird variance, she has notes on the side that kind of explains, you know, why that variance is happening. And it's information that's great for your board and it's good for ours. But is there, and I don't think they're in Excel, that is then you're not able to transfer them into Excel, or can you transfer them into Excel?
We can, we can do it. We had a discussion about that on the Board of Ed, and we thought this is the report we're using, and we'd like to bring forward to you the reports we're using
Okay.
instead of creating a secondary report. We did, just to clarify, last year was, we did a lot of changes with our reporting. And as you saw, as we went into our meetings and said, we need to change this, Kathy uncovered a lot of line items that needed to move things or do things different. We worked a lot on the reporting ourselves internally and how we wanted to see it. We changed it a few times because we didn't like one format or we requested a different one. We said by November, we want to see that there's forecasting. So the Finance Committee and the Board of Ed already deep dives into what we want to see for a report. And this is the final report that we've come up with that we're all very, very comfortable with. One thing we did talk about again at the last meeting and agreed on was that if there's something in a line item that seems like it should go somewhere else, we are not going to change that in the current budget cycle. We'll continue to document it on the side so that everybody understands that, but so you're not seeing different account changes mid-year.
Okay,
Okay,
that'd be great.
okay, thank you.
I think that from discussions that we've had either at the tri-board or prior meetings, I think that's a good policy, and obviously how you provide your reports, we'd like to work collaboratively, and I think the request was if it wasn't causing Kathy or the central office a lot more work to do that. And obviously it's, you have your reports your way, and I guess we'll discuss it further as well as reports come through, and that as you're final, kind of fine tuning everything, and hopefully now that I think we have you guys have a system that you can provide with us consistently, we should be okay.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, we should be really proud of the things that are going on at the school. I'm super excited about it. I think our audit was amazing. We've done some really amazing work there. We're able to, we're fortunate that we're able to cover this cyber incident and handled it. We had a great team of people jump on it and do what we had to do with it. We're hoping to be able to handle our special education underfunding and all of that. So I'm really, really proud of this board. I'm really proud of our central office. Our school is doing some really amazing things, and I'm excited for us to collaborate, but I don't want it to get lost on what an amazing education system we have and how fortunate we are to have what we have here and to be able to fund it the way we are. And we've got town support at budget hearings and at referendums. And so I just don't want it to be lost on, too much negativity, because I think it's super exciting what we're doing, and I'm really proud of our school.
Yes, just to follow on what Mike was saying about the reports, and we'll work together and everything. But if we don't have some of the answers, I think the perception will be we're nitpicking or trying to go above and beyond, or trying to dig in more into it. If we can't get the information on the report of a report that we're kind of asking for tailored, just expect that we're going to ask a lot more questions.
And I'm
So
fine.
it's-
That's great. I'm totally fine
So
with that.
if we can't get reports that are kind of going to help us not ask so many questions, well, we're going to be asking more questions with the
Sure.
report that.
Sure. No, that's absolutely
So
fine.
I think everybody just needs to understand, it's not us going deep dive and, oh my God, it's just, hey,
Nope. Totally understand. And, we're open to any questions and always happy to answer.
okay.
All right. Thank you.
Anything further? Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Troy and Kathy, for being here. Agenda item number 8, Robert Carlson, Northwest Corner Road.
I know, but it's not.
It is.
Takes a minute to warm up. I did what he said and it went off, so I'm just saying. All right, so thanks. So the appropriation tonight is for tribal affairs, number B901 on your budget. What it says on this report this evening, this appropriation request this evening, is not what it said on the yesterday's when we originally were going to approve it. Yesterday, I had asked for an appropriation approval from the Board of Selectmen for $6,717.50, which we were going, it was in motion. We were going to approve it. We asked for comment and a former first selectman said, well, will that cover you for the rest of the year? And I said, probably not. He says, well, do you know you can't ask for multiple appropriations on the same line item in the same fiscal year? So with that said, we changed the motion and we decided on was to do a not to exceed $15,000 motion, knowing that if we don't spend it, just goes back into the general fund anyway, because it just would be, and it'd be leftover money on our budget. The way I've been paying the bills is pretty much quarterly. You'll see on the appropriation, you'll see there's a invoice from 11/30 on travel recognition. And then you'll see there's 3 invoices, 18/13, 9/29, and 12/23. I typically don't like to pay August and September invoices in January. But the first invoice we got from Perkins Coie, our attorney, there was, I think, 4 things that they said was not paid, and Melissa showed me we had already paid them. So I said, when you figure out what I really owe, send it back and I'll pay you, but I'm not paying you a penny until I get the correct invoices. Took about a month later, we finally got it corrected, and you'll see it now in your, I think it's the 3rd page in the packet. We have 2 open invoices of $2,709.73 and $3,009.70. 4 of those other invoices on the left that said paid amounts were showed as unpaid when I originally got this. So that has been straightened out. So when you take that amount of money, the $5,719, and then the invoice for the tribe recognition of $784, the total dollars that I need to get to zero is $6,717.50. I don't expect to pay after this appropriation this evening. If it goes through, I don't expect to pay invoices again until probably March or April. I think by doing the $15,000 not to exceed, it will cover me on that. And then we'll be paying, the next time we have to pay invoices will be after July 1st. So we're already be into the next budget season. And we are probably going to raise our budget. We haven't approved it yet. We just started talking about it. But I do have a $10,000 increase in that line, just to sort of go from 20 to 30. So we would not maybe going for appropriations next year to the same extent we would this year.
It makes sense.
When we go into executive session, I'll explain a little bit more to you as far as why I am raising the budget. But there's 4, actually, I would just leave it at that at this point. So I'm requesting the appropriation up to, but not to exceed $15,000.
I move to approve an appropriation request from the undesignated fund not to exceed $15,000 for the remainder of fiscal year 2025, 2026. to be used for line item B 9.01 tribal recognition and land into trust.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Hey, Bob, are we 100% positive that 15 grand will get you to where you need to go?
We'll discuss that in executive session. I'm pretty close. It's pretty close. I didn't want to go higher than that.
Like
that-
close, like you might go over close or close?
No, I think we'll be covered because it's more than double what I'm asking for this evening. So if I'm asking for about the same amount 3 months
Okay.
from now, I'm not asking you already give it to me tonight. So
Yeah, I'm just asking and making sure.
yeah, I'm
On top of that,
talking to the attorneys in the other towns. We're not expecting any large numbers to come in between now and the end of the
Okay.
fiscal year. So
in their billings, they may, you may not see a bill from any work they do in March until next up.
well, I already
So-
told them I'm not paying it unless it's correct.
It's
So,
so,
luckily Melissa picked up on that when the last bills came in. So
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 6-0-0.
Mike, when you vote to go into executive session, I'd like to invite Suzanne Thero, Nicole Porter, and John Gassion into executive
Okay.
session.
You make the motion, I'll second it, and then we'll invite
They're not invited.
good job, Mr.
I move to go into executive session.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Well, Ed's not gonna, he's not voting, so
No.
I'm just gonna note that
Edmund.
our alternate Ed McGowan is going to leave this executive session.
I'll make a motion to invite Nicole Porter, John Gatchone, and Susan Thoreau into executive session.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So once
You
we're
got
in, I
that,
would just
Sarah,
recommend we
on the
turn
notes?
off our microphones.
It's not done.
2-minute break. Sorry, thank you all for your patience for our executive session. We are back on agenda item number 10 out of 15.
Hey, we're doing really, really well.
I think so. I think so. So we're back on the Wheeler Library discussion. At this point, we do have the public hearing scheduled for February 9th. Public hearing, right. And we have the notice that, there's not a voting meetings. It's going to be a chance for the Wheeler Library Board to present the project, their ask. And yeah, it's going to be mailed to every single household in North Stonington. I have
Did this go out yet? Is there like can we put like a website on here? Is there like a website address? Like no, but is there anything about like the town website? There's nothing, there's not going to be anything about this on the town website at all? Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine that they will provide some type of website for them to go to.
I mean, this is theirs to, my opinion, to
Oh,
respond to the ask from the public. So if there's outreach that says, hey, is there a website or something that we can go to go through that's up to them to ask and figure out how they can
Agreed.
facilitate.
I have reached out to Lou and Dan is otherwise busy with work to kind of get together to formulate the presentation from the finance side, discussing the plan to take out a loan, what the interest rates the bank is charging, what's the likely cost as a non-recurring cost, unsecured loan that's going to be on the budget of 1.3 per year for 10 years. Right?
130
1,030,000. Yes, I'm sorry.
roughly.
1,030,000, roughly. And I will have, and discuss the fact, the fact that it is able to be paid off at any time. Be prepared for questions regarding the undesignated fund and, why aren't we doing that? Or if we, if we talk about the fact that we could, if we feel like we are secure to pay down debt, particularly if we get over our 17% threshold and now that we have probably, hopefully no appropriation with regard to the cyber
I
incident.
think that's a slippery slope.
I'm going to be,
I don't disagree with, we have the ability to do it, but we shouldn't frame it in such a way that it's sort of de facto, because it's not. Things could happen. The undesignated fund could be challenged. We could tip a truck and have to replace. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces, but it's a potential.
and that's.
Yeah.
We're not going to present a presentation without us showing you what the presentation would be.
Perfect.
But I'm going to be prepared to field questions about why we're not and the basis for it, which is everything that we talked about. I mean, I was soundly overruled and, for all good reasons. Do I have my own opinions? Yes, but I'm here. I'm not here to represent my own opinions. I'm here to represent this board. And as to, I will have factual information as to what we've done in the past and what our policy says it's supposed to. It's to pay down debt. Could it be used to pay down debt? If we have the ability to do so, yes, we do have that ability under our policy.
I think when we talk about this, it's two separate entities when we talk about it. It's basically, you have the project itself and the funding for the project, and then you talk about the undesignated fund and the very high level workings of it. And then, we have a mechanism to pay down debt early. And
Any
leave it at
debt.
that. Any debt, and just leave it at that. And people should be able to put two and two together on that.
But by policy, we need to take the debt before we can even consider using the undesignated
Correct.
fund to pay it down. Yeah.
The only way you can do that. So I think it's.
What was that last comment?
by policy, the only way we can do it is the town has to take the debt first before there's any discussion about paying it down. You can't skip the debt, taking on the debt.
You have to close on the debt and then.
That is the best, under our policy, that is the best method.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's the only method.
It's really the only method, and also it being an
I'm sorry,
unsecured.
Mike. It's not gray. It's black and white. We have to take the debt. We can't say, oh, we're going to take the debt, so we're just going to avoid that step and pay it down. That's, our policy doesn't allow that.
Well, that's your opinion.
Thank you.
I think if we would just be very, very transparent, keep it simple and
I
say,
agree,
hey,
and I'm all on, I'm on board with the plan, and I think it is a cleaner way to do it. Then, it's on the books as debt, it's in the budget as debt. And, our policy, when there's an overage, right now, the policy says we have to use it for debt or mill rate reduction. So I agree with you there that if it's, we're talking about the overage, it's debt only or mill rate reduction. And I'll keep it high level. I'm just saying I'm going to be ready to answer those questions. And Lou's going to talk about, or Lou is going to help me create a presentation that is within what we talked about and how we want to present it.
so Lou, actually, this is a question probably for you. On an unsecured loan, or whatever we want to call it, is it the terms structured by the bank, or do we negotiate? Is a one payment a year, or is it we escrow it out like 6 months to 6 months? Like,
this would be it's a commercial loan.
Yeah.
Even it's to the town, but it's
Yep.
referred to as a commercial loan. And with a commercial loan, all aspects of it are open to negotiation. So the bank will have certain policies that they'll want to keep to.
Mhm.
But the nice thing about that is that you can fashion a commercial loan to fit what we need, what we want to do. So I would think that we could do anything from a monthly payment to an annual payment. And the way you make your payments can also be beneficial.
what would be beneficial for us to minimize? I'll use the word risk for that. Would it be making it every 6 months, like
Well,
once a year?
I'll say this, to lower interest costs, then you would want to make a payment earlier during the period after the closing. So you'd make an initial payment 90 days after the closing of $100,000. And then the bank will want to get its interest paid
Mhm.
on a monthly or quarterly basis. It can't go too far without paying its interest.
You said it was simple interest though.
It is simple interest, but the payment to interest needs to be on a regular basis for the bank. That's why a lot of times I'll just make it a level payment, like your mortgage is the same payment every month. But with a commercial loan, you can just make interest only payments and then make a principal payment every 3 months, every 6 months.
Well, since it's going to be budgeted at 100, like, let's just say estimated 100, 1,030,000. I mean, does it matter fiscally? Does it save us interest to make a, yeah,
Yeah.
130? Does it make a difference to when you pay that 130,000?
Yes, interest accrues on the unpaid balance. So the sooner you pay down principal, the lower your interest costs will be. So and again, that's,
Okay.
you negotiate that with the bank but they may come back and say, our policy to a town for an unsecured loan is that you'll make a monthly payment of 100 of whatever it is.
Okay.
So we'll have to, but that all can be negotiated. They're usually open to that.
And the thing is, if it's in the budget, we have flexibility as to when how it gets paid, regardless of what they require us to do.
So really
We'll do whatever works out the best as far as the treasurer is concerned to minimize the amount of interest we pay.
so if they do it prior to the budget again, well, no, it would be in the budget. So our first payment closing and everything after that would be sometime during the summer or end of summer within that 90-day term period.
Right.
Well, I think
And then
that's,
it's also dependent upon when the library needs the money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we foundationally, we don't even know when go time is.
It could be a year from now.
Right.
Mhm.
So all they need to know is this vote went through. Bob's got to send them a nice letter saying, yeah, we got you covered. But when they actually say, okay, go to the bank, we're going to need a check on next day. We have no idea when that is.
Right. And the one thing that I would ask the question of the bank, see if they're agreeable to it, is that they did say there would be one closing for $1 million and we take all the money all at once. And it would be better for us
Money in the account.
if we could say, can we take advances on that of 300,000 here because they need 300, then 500. They have $1 million commitment to us, but we don't take it all. It would save us a lot of
This
money.
can't be decided until the construction management contracts are understood.
Well,
Because
that part
typically,
of, right.
typically the construction management wants all the construction money in the parent company's checking account on day one. And somebody needs to figure this out, and it's not us.
No, that should not happen.
Well, it's gonna be whoever's managing also the prevailing wage requirements and everything, because that is going to be a very sticky situation if they don't manage that correctly, especially with the state.
anyway, so I'm hoping Lou and I will meet sometime next week to start getting some type of PowerPoint. If anyone wants to participate, you're more than welcome. You don't have to. I love extra work. Mm. But that's the plan. And we will be ready on our end. It would probably be good, Bob, to have a conversation with Chelsea Groton. Is it Chelsea or Dime? Yeah, just talk to Dime and see if they have a requirement on when payments are expected. If, they expect to hand us over a check for $1 million and we start paying on it. Or would they allow us to take it in tranches? Those details, I would like to have that before the bank.
We did ask to get that answered. Right? That we asked that question before. Okay.
We did talk about, I kind of remember being told that they're not going to do the revolver. Dime doesn't. Dime won't do it. They said they wouldn't do that, which I'm kind of surprised about, and that's okay. But then you tell them, well, I'm going to talk to Chelsea Groton and see if they don't change their mind. I mean, that's with a commercial loan, like a consumer loan, there's 1,000 laws that protect you and how it's done. There are very, very few laws, very, very few regulations on how you structure a commercial loan. It's really, it's how well you can negotiate and how badly they want the business. So.
Anything else from the board with regard to Wheeler Library? Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item number 11, which is our policies discussion continuation. So Winona was kind enough to send me her restructuring, which I really like. I think it's got a better flow. Goes from rationale to the policy, what it's there to maintain, adequate resources for. In the first part, there was language that in Lou's original draft, I sent that out to you guys, the one that was in Word, that on phones, it just doesn't come, it doesn't come in as,
To download it to see the track change.
yeah. And I don't have Word on my,
Boom.
but I know that I resent it to myself, and I know if you open it up in your regular computer, all those track changes are there. It basically, Lou's, to his point, it was, to make it more active tense in its wording, what have you. It doesn't really change anything substantially with regard to the rationale. It just makes it sound better. I took that second bullet point and broke it out into bullet points, and you can certainly comment on that if you want to. The one that I could foresee getting yelled at by certain members of this board is the other unforeseen extenuating circumstances.
Noted.
So I did.
It's in the original policy. It's broken out. I just, in my opinion, being on this board since 2017, the amount of flexibility that we need for things that happen after budget season, it's broad enough to allow us to use the policy for under $20,000 if the Board of Selectmen need us to. And of course, anything over $20,000 has to go to a town vote. I don't think it's,
I think we just need to tighten up that bullet. And for instance, and then the other thing that this policy says is for things that are in the budget, I don't think it should, no offense, Bob, this is a sore subject. I don't think it should be allowed for things that were in the budget with a line item of 0 and then midterm we fund it. That's just not cool in my mind. If we can't afford it, it shouldn't be in the budget. If we think we're going to fund it, it should be in the budget. But to put it in at 0 and then fund it mid-budget cycle out of the undesignated fund, it's icky.
I agree with you on that, but I do have a question.
Yeah.
What if there's no number there? If it's just blank? Would that then mean you couldn't do that? Because 0 is a number. But if there's no number on that line item, would that mean
We're
we
going to argue
couldn't do
arithmetic
it?
now.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
and that's my worry. I mean, you all know my opinion on, a project that the town's going to vote on, and whether or not, if we have over $500,000 in it and using additional funds would bring it down to 15%, which we've been kind of, if you look back at our undesignated policy, I know he just brought up in the audit that it's been higher than that and increasing over the last 5 years. But, it's hovered around 15% for a long time. That, if the townspeople wanted to use it, that our policy doesn't ban that. That's all I'm not trying to pull anything over or make something shifty. I'm just trying to give it flexibility for things that the town wants to do. Small nickel dime stuff under 20 grand here and there. I agree with you, Gary, we should have it in the budget, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm just talking about those, something crazy comes up that the town really wants. Why should our policy, prevent us from doing that?
We don't know that the town really wants it.
I know.
So if we're talking about the elephant in the room, we haven't asked the town. I want to know what the town wants to do, not what the selectmen want to do, not what the Board of Finance wants to do. It is taxpayers' money that has been levied and held in case something bad happens, in accordance with the policy.
I agree with you. We couldn't do it without them saying yes. We couldn't. And we wouldn't.
Where does it state in here that it has to be a line item?
The general rule, it's, for,
It-
it's available for appropriation after adoption of the annual budget kind of assumes
Okay,
The,
that it's for things that we haven't budgeted for.
but Carl,
yeah.
there's an appropriation policy that says that the policy that says that to do an appropriation, you have to have a line item.
Correct.
So like giving closet had to get added to as a line item
In order to get the.
in order to get the
Yeah.
appropriation.
Right.
That was like a new thing. Whereas if it's an existing line item, you can do an appropriation.
Okay,
I probably should have used that as an example, but I was
I
just
mean, do
trying to
we have
think
a
of
light
new
item? Do we have a light item for a force majeure event that for a force of nature thing that happens in town?
The bridge.
Right. So
That's,
how do you use the undesignated fund for something that's not budgeted? That's a force of nature type thing versus something else that the town wants. It's how,
It's-
Can-
It was-
Greg, if I
Force
could,
majeure
could I just-
applies to, hold on, town assets, town assets.
yeah.
Where it goes into Never Never Land for me is you're talking about a non-town asset. Yes, it's absolutely pivotal to the community and I love the place, but the town has no skin in the game when it comes to that asset. That's where it goes on the other side of the net for me.
Agreed. And Gary, I don't think
I don't think you guys are.
fundamentally we're like
disagreeing. You
a
both agree.
razor's edge from each other. It'd be a situation, and I'm not saying we use the policy before the cart gets in the horse gets on the cart. The horse has to get hitched to the cart before we can even act.
I can't believe we're having this discussion again. I thought we were in a spot where we're moving forward, everything. was
I'm just
going
talking,
accordingly.
this is,
Mike, I communicated with you that this topic has exhausted me and I didn't want to talk about it anymore. And somehow I walked back into it tonight. How does this happen?
because we're talking about the policy itself right now.
Well, can I get slight change?
And
of
it just-
direction? No, a little bit different, a little bit of, when we had our audit review,
I don't mean to trouble you.
we had our audit review. He had mentioned that the fellow, 10 to 18%. To me, the substance to talk about is what's the right level here? 8.5 to 17%. Okay, that's turns out to be about 2 months worth of 17%. So I guess my question is, he had mentioned 10 to 18% seemed like is a good basis. I'm just wondering, should we adopt that? Why do we go 8.5 and 17? Because that, to me, that's what's going to drive all of this.
And yeah, and the 8.5 covered 1 month of expenditures, which is actually in the policy itself.
Just twice,
At a minimum, 1 month's expenditures.
right?
And if expenditures go up, the 8.5% still covers it, wouldn't?
Yeah,
agree?
when I originally wrote this, it was 1 month was 8.5 and then 2 months was 17.
Okay,
So you couldn't
So
go
we could
over
keep
2
that.
months expenditures.
okay. And we could leave, I just
That was that.
seeing the audit results at 10 to 18, I said, okay. But if that makes sense, we can
So
leave
if
it at
they,
that.
if he's using the same methodology, 18 is the top
The top.
of what we should have, which we're at 17.
Okay.
I have a question. I probably should look it up instead of embarrassing myself just in case, but and I opened the most recent version, I believe. I don't see track changes, but that's actually okay. So the bullet that's like under the undesignated fund policy section, under other unforeseen extenuating circumstances, what is the second bullet supposed to say? It says,
Force majeure.
no, not maintain adequate reserves. What is that word at the beginning of the second bullet? It looks like it's REITERATES.
Reiterate.
Yeah, reiterates an element of sound sound fiscal management required for sustaining a high credit rating.
Yes.
It looks like it's under unforeseen circumstances, so I'm confused. I'm just confused why is it intended to be under unforeseen circumstances?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a separate item.
Okay, so it's just, maybe it's the
If you want-
formatting I see, but it looks like the bullet.
If you want to, you
maintain-
can look at the PDF version and
Okay.
it's normal.
It's a subs.
You have four main bullets: maintain adequate reserves, readily available for appropriation, maintain, and then third one, maintain adequate reserves for mill rate stabilization. And the fourth one is reiterates element of sound fiscal
So-
management.
In between those four bullets, there's a header bullet that says other unforeseen extenuating circumstances.
No, that's not supposed to be a header. That's under the second main bullet, but not limited to economic downturns, force majeure, or other unforeseen extenuating
Okay, okay.
circumstances.
Thank you. Okay, that makes so much more sense. I guess I have the same question, and maybe it's just not something we need to worry about, but the policy description like gives a lot more detail in the examples than in the event of the undesignated fund shortfall or undesignated fund overage. I feel like they don't like 100% align, and maybe like that's okay, but
Well, they don't necessarily align.
I feel like when we get into the sort of circular debate here, it's interpretation of the guidance, and you've got guidance in two different places. Like you've got guidance at the beginning that says, this is what you use it for. And then you've got guidance later that says, this is what you use it for
For the overage.
or the shortfall.
Under management.
Well, it's a condition. So you had the base policy, and it basically the second page, you fall under, in the event of a shortfall, in an event of an overage, you do this. This is your condition. This is your mitigating factor to it. So if you have a balance shortfall, if the undesignated fund balance falls below the minimum operating level, you will develop and approve a recovery plan. So I went back through my research last night, and of the 15 or 16 towns I sampled from, this policy right here is probably the most detailed policy compared to any other town out there. There's some towns that have 3 paragraphs and a couple of bullets. Some of them have a page. We're the only one I think have, all right, 2 or 3 pages. It is probably the most detailed policy out there on undesignated fund in the state of Connecticut. Especially when it talks about town meeting forms of government. Because what I think we need to also realize is some other towns, they're under a charter. They don't go based on state statute.
So can I chime in real quick as the new guy?
Please.
Because I've been listening about the back and forth with the undesignated fund and whatnot, and done my own research as well. And we do seem to kind of be, we haven't decided on a number yet. Is it 8.5? Is it 10%? Which we just kind of changed that number tonight. And we keep kind of jumping around. And I'm definitely no expert on policy. And I'm, like I said, I'm the new guy, but just my 2 cents. If we could kind of start breaking down where we agree on things, like what really is the number? Is it 10%? Is it 8.5? And does it go to 17 or 18%? And then stick to that. And then just leave that be the number, that being the number that we agree upon. Now move down to some of the verbiage in the policy and then slowly break this down and then move on.
So
If that makes any sense, sorry, just that it's been a few months on one policy. Like you said, it's already larger than most policies you've seen.
So my personal opinion on this is the way it reads right here, it is cleaner after Gary's cut and everybody else's cut. It reads cleaner. However, if we want to have more information, more verbiage in there, we probably should, in my opinion, put this to a vote, get it approved, and then create a 3-person working group to go forward and kind of take this completely offline. We just say, hey, for the next, this time next year, we put something forward and everything, and that's what we go with. Now, I understand Gary's frustration where, we keep talking about, we keep bouncing around everything, but we're going into budget season. We got a lot of stuff coming up. If we want to just have a couple of people kind of take this offline, work group it, and come back with something in a couple of months or so and just maybe do a quarterly update. How do you feel about that?
That's fine. I mean, the main thing, what I like about it's the present one that I presented, other than the change that I made to just the bullet points, because I still talked about other extenuating circumstances in our original policy, is Winona's changes to the flow.
I think it flows. Yeah, I think this flows fine.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, the order of things.
And I think can we all agree that the present policy of 8.5%, to Ed's point, and 17% has served us well, and we're not changing it.
We're not changing it.
Agreed?
let's leave it alone.
Okay.
I don't.
So that's off the table. I think we've never gone below, a long time below 13% for all I know. And we've gone over once and we handled it with absolute acumen.
Do we also agree that the balance shortfall section where it talks about a recovery plan within 30 days notice of it, it's a boilerplate, an agreement on that's not going to change.
So this is the one piece for me that I don't think is clear in this file is when do we measure? And are we measuring monthly? Is there a window? Like if it bops around, like is it consecutive month to month?
For what?
That's for each of the shortfall and the overage, because it's not clear in either. So like, if it goes under 1 month, does that trigger the shortfall action plan? If it's over, Lou, let me talk, please. I'm sorry. If it's over, it says that it's got after 1 fiscal year. Is that 12 consecutive months? Is that 12 months in a 24-month period? Like, so the actual timing of when things are measured, is it after the audit? Do we not care about anything that happens in between July and December? Like those numbers don't count because it wasn't audited. Like that's the part that to me is not crystal clear.
In the one that I wrote up, it had mentioned the fund balance would have an annual review no later than January 1st of each year. So it's going to be
But we
based
didn't even
on,
have the audit.
well, it all depends on when you start the clock. So we got the audit now. So now we have 1 year back to January 1st. We just got the audit.
Yeah.
But that would be January 1st of 27 for a fiscal year that ended.
So I
June
remember
of
this was a
25.
discussion
That's why I
last
asked
time.
the question before. I
Right.
mean, they're looking at data at the end of June. or July, right?
June, yeah, end of June. Yeah.
So,
We had this discussion.
so when does the clock start?
So I remember having this discussion.
Go ahead.
Sarah and I are like, look, and we're like, we had this discussion when this policy was first completely rewritten. And originally it was June. And then we were like, no. June is not a good time frame because we don't have this information. So we threw it into January. And we thought that January was a good time frame. However, it's our policy. We can move that date around whenever we really need
can I-
to.
You also don't even need one. I mean, I mean, how restrictive, how regimented do we think this needs to be?
There's been 3 years that we didn't review it.
And maybe because we didn't need to, because we hadn't got to 17. So it's use the judgment of, okay, it's 18%, but we know we've got this thing coming in 6 months. We don't do anything. So I don't think we should hamstring the future committees if they just understand what the process is.
But
And
you have the year to do that, Lou.
right, that's what I'm saying.
That's why I said
What's-
one fiscal year.
However, personally, I think we should review it at the end of the fiscal year with our wet finger in the air, without the auditors. We have a rough idea where we are, and we reconcile before we go into budget season. Because if it's sitting there at 18 or 19% when we go into budget season, we know
they're
where the
gonna-
pressures are going to come.
So
Right.
this policy was also originally written before the ERISA account was out there. And the schools, at that time, the schools' financials were kind of, we would get some here, we get this, bang, 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 all the way around. Really, all we have to worry about with this policy is the first selectman's budget. And it's been the last 4 years plus, it's been pretty consistent. The fund has been going up. We really don't have to worry about that. That's why I'm kind of like, if we're going to go forward with this, the verbiage here is okay as it stands. We have an impromptu committee of, under three or under. And we work on it on a sidebar note, and then we just kind of say, hey, this is what we got, guys. And we just start pecking away at it. It's a good policy as is written. It's cleaned up. It works. It's been working for the last couple of years because we have a good problem. We have money that we have to spend out of it. And it's pretty clear on how we have to go do that. I think we all have the understanding. So that's what I propose is we take this, we approve it tonight, and then we make the commitment as a part of it. We move forward.
I'm fine with it,
put-
except I want that last bullet tightened up.
What's the last?
Unforeseen extenuating circumstances. I suggest we add associated with town-owned assets.
Is that on the front?
No, I don't have a page. number.
Yeah, it's on the front.
Okay, so I'll do you one better. Is it better just to even remove it? Because I think through my toolage through all the different towns and everything, I've never seen the unforeseen extenuating circumstances on any of them.
I just don't
wish I
want to
brought my
leave it
laptop.
open-ended like this because it's open-ended. Whatever your flavor, but I don't like that bullet as it was written.
Okay, Lou, in the financial world, unforeseen circumstances, what is that considered? I don't know.
All right, if there was a $500,000 item that was an unforeseen circumstance, wouldn't something like that have to go to a town meeting and then a referendum?
So
So I guess what I'm saying then is, okay, the policy would allow for us to take money out of the undesignated fund. We could vote to do that, but it would still then need to be approved at a town
Exactly.
meeting
so
and a referendum.
so I think this.
So I guess allowing the money to come out of a savings account
Mhm.
is a good thing if the people in town agree with us that, yes, it should happen.
So if we go to that second bullet, it says maintain adequate reserves readily available for appropriation after adoption of the annual budget for unforeseen shortfalls in revenue and or additional expenditures caused by, but not limited to those three things. So if we got rid of that last bullet, it kind of, you're talking about unforeseen shortfalls in revenue and or additional expenditures caused by, but not limited to, economic downturns and force majeure. It's kind of,
Yeah, I.
those are the big things that we really could.
Okay, if it going,
Can I read our original policy?
Yeah, sure.
Maintain adequate reserves to support at a minimum 1 month's expenditures. Second bullet point, maintain adequate reserves readily available for appropriation if unforeseen expenditures or unforeseen shortfalls in revenue occur caused by economic downturns, natural disasters, or other unforeseen extenuating circumstances after adoption of the annual budget. It's just a bullet point change.
yeah, and the back up to that is, we could vote it all day long, but if the town meeting and the
They say
referendum
no.
say no, we're not touching the money.
Yeah, but the other thing to keep in mind is. The other thing to keep in mind is the mid-budget cycle town meeting and referendum that is sparsely attended. I feel the system sometimes gets gamed a little bit with that.
Maybe it does, but we can't, you can't overcome people that are just apathetic about coming out dealing with things. You can't overcome that in the policy, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
We can only make the policy work as best as we can for what might come, so. Can we do this in the form of a motion, Kim?
What?
What you,
No, I don't think so. We do a motion for subcommittee. Oh,
to do the policy,
Yeah,
to
can we-
accept this as a,
accept the policy as written?
yeah. And then we're gonna decide as a committee to revisit it, maybe a good summertime project.
Ooh, we love summertime.
I know.
So what's happening with what's happening with the last bullet in the motion? Is it there? Is it not there? Is
It's
it
there.
modified?
It's there.
It's just, I think the second main bullet covers us on a lot of things. If we even just remove other unforeseen extenuating circumstances, because really there's not a lot of unforeseen circumstances out there other than that could affect us as economic downturns and, floods, fires and which
Locust.
explain what force majeure, what is covered underneath that? Is it just acts of God?
Acts of God.
Yeah.
War,
plague,
plague, lightning,
floods.
floods.
So really, what is that really the economic downturn in that is, yeah, it kind of covers everything that we could be exposed to that is unforeseen.
I mean,
We've been doing this since last summer, as somebody just pointed out. I think we got what we got. I'd like to be done with this before budget season. And before we're looking at the revow, the impact on that, let's just put this to bed.
I think you have more of a exposure of the and or additional expenditures caused
No.
by, but not limited to.
yes, the by not limited to, it doesn't, that just makes those three bullets examples.
There's,
So if
yeah.
Gary doesn't like bullet 3, we can take it out. It doesn't really matter.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to adopt the undesignated fund policy as written, except for removing bullet 3, the other unforeseen extenuating circumstances shall be stricken from this draft and of the policy.
Any further discussion? I'll just note that that language was in our policy all along, so I don't know why you guys are doing this, but where I know.
Because I can make comments too. Sorry, my microphone was off. Don't poke the bear, please, on this one. I'm just tired of it.
I think for the time.
You want to
being-
take over?
I do not want to take over. I have no desire. If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve. However, this whole topic, the whole elephant in the room was spawned when Bob and you met with the president of the board of the.
See,
library.
now we're getting
Now we're
somewhere.
getting somewhere. And you guys said, well, it's a good time because we're going to be over on this account. And we've been.
were-
wrestling with this
number
for
one-
2 years.
Number one,
Go ahead, bring it.
we were not over at the time. We had actually designated money from the undesignated fund in the prior budget season. You're wrong. And I have,
can only
this
tell you
has
what was
nothing, I am not trying to
communicated
get,
me, and I am tired
I'm
of
not
it.
trying to get something over on anybody with regard to paying for this. Why?
Because I'm done.
Point of order.
I told you I was done with this topic.
Point of
Well,
order.
you,
Please do not bring it up. Had to poke the bear. You're in, I'm out. Good night.
Gary, phone.
I don't like people questioning my intentions or my devotion to this town. And I'm really offended. Anyway, I am fine with it being changed as is. I don't think it's necessary. I think you're limiting the ability to provide the town with what they would have to vote for in the first place, but I am fine with the changes. And no further discussion by me. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We have one abstention.
No, he
No.
he
Oh,
left.
he's
the
not- he's
meeting.
all right.
He left the meeting.
He left the
Vice
meeting.
Chair.
I am going to appoint Carl in his place. I'm going to retake the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 6-0.
I'd like to make a motion to form a 3-person committee to, within the next year, develop a draft copy. Actually, I'll rephrase it. Within the next 6 months of this meeting, to develop a draft copy for review, a full review of the policy for the Board of Finance on the undesignated fund policy.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
So I will volunteer to be on that
I-
subcommittee.
I appreciate it.
I can chair it because I got probably the most knowledge on this to be able to share. I'm looking for 2 other people that want to be on it. Volunteers.
I can help you.
Okay. Ed, you want to be?
Yeah, if you need me as an alternate, I can still, subcommittee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
and
You can be a
subcommittee, yeah,
sub-
absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
All right, so
Oh, nice.
so I can do is I can start forwarding you guys some of the stuff that I have from the legacy stuff,
Cool.
and then we can kind of come up with a draft, but within the next 6 months.
Minutes.
So I've sent both minutes out for the December 17th, meeting,
Yep.
that were revised. I don't know if you guys want to vote on those ones first.
Which one was it? All right.
Can you repeat what we're looking at? I'm sorry.
1-7.
Sorry.
1-7. All right.
Yes.
I sent them both out on the same day. I sent the,
Got it.
You sent the
17th out
old one,
first.
the one that was approved, right? To
The 17th, yeah, that's the amended one after,
Okay.
with some help there, modifying that initial motion That was then rescinded on the 7th, which is notated in the 7th meetings minutes.
Did we approve it with amendments?
Yeah,
So we don't have to approve it again?
no.
Okay. So what's the one
We,
where?
we haven't approved this 12-17 minutes yet.
we
That was
haven't- we have
tabled,
not.
that was tabled last meeting, to this meeting to be
So we're gonna
approved.
look at the 17.
So right now we have the minutes from December 17th and the minutes from January 7th, both set up for approval that are finalized.
When's the email?
So I'm
I'll look right
sorry,
now.
what,
Oh,
I'm
on.
sorry. What are we looking at?
1217 right now on, that was sent on January 13th.
Okay, January, that's I needed.
I do not have December minutes sent on January 13th.
I don't either. Oh, wait, I lied. I do.
I'm looking for, I don't,
No, I don't. I have
That's the-
1/7.
okay.
So I,
They were sent.
so I made an error. I only sent it to, two people. I didn't send it to everybody
All right,
with the new ones.
all right, we'll table 1217.
Yeah, let's,
Sorry.
no problem, no problem. I know you sent, I remember seeing them. It's
Yeah, I only
probably,
sent it to.
sometimes it's Outlook. If
yeah.
someone else comments after you, it changes your email to something else completely.
All right, so 17 we're looking at.
So, okay, so we're looking at January 7th meeting
Correct.
minutes
Yes,
that was sent on January 13th.
correct.
Okay, that I have. I'm rolling now. Okay.
So for the record, I did not send the minutes out that after I revised them from December 17th. I will send those out tonight. We can table that for to approve at the next meeting.
I'm not finding it.
You find them?
No.
Here. How do I walk around at work doing this all day and have no problems, but when I'm sitting, I can't figure it out. Oh, no, oh, Mike Anderson. There we go. I sent it to you.
I will make a motion to approve the Board of Finance minutes from 1/7/26 as written.
Second,
Thanks, Dan. I got it.
Yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0.
all right, that's the only one we got.
That's it, right?
Yeah, we're tabling the
We're tabling the 12-17.
12/17.
Okay.
Public comment.
We've lost everybody after.
Yeah,
we
after
got-
that executive
yeah.
session. We
Yeah.
should do that more often.
We,
I mean, no.
but we also lost people, we lost some people that were, there was like 4 people on. And then when it accidentally got hung up, we lost some people
Even Judy went home.
All right, public comment.
too. No public comment.
No public comment. Are we gonna get us information prior?
Did we ever adopt? Or did you guys adopt the calendar? Do we need to vote on the calendar?
No, we did.
No, we did it.
Our annual calendar, did we vote on our
Yeah.
budget calendar? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one thing I do have a question about is the MOU for the 501c3s. Who's writing that?
The-
Oh.
It's not policy. It's not the policy.
It was a memo.
It's a memo of
Can you,
understanding.
is that something someone wants to take on that's
Lou already
retired?
wrote it. I cross-checked everything you were requesting and nothing seemed unreasonable. So I think it's,
We could just use that as a basis of of
yeah.
Can you-
requests.
We just
Yeah.
need something to be able to send out.
Can you just send that to me again, Lou?
Yes.
Or do you have it?
I
Do
have it.
we-
I'll send you a digital copy.
Yeah.
But that's it, just so you can.
Yeah, just send it to me in Word.
Yep.
And I can just say a memo that we're wanting the request for funding format. That's the
Right.
ones we want,
Does
right?
that need to be on town letterhead? To
Well, I
send
think
out,
if we send it to,
if we send it out.
I have,
do have the
yeah, because,
template?
yeah, I
Okay.
do. I do.
all the power.
I'll just put it in my,
And we don't need to vote on it, right? 'Cause
no,
it's just
we
a
already,
request.
I think we already,
Yeah.
you already directed me to do
Yeah,
that.
we directed them basically take the policy as written, take the highlights and submit it as an MOU.
So I will send NFP memo to BOS. All right, I got that in for tomorrow noontime to do. And
I'm sorry.
if you can send me that in Word, I can get that.
I'll do it tonight.
I'll do that in either tomorrow or Friday. We'll have it
Okay.
out. All right. No other public comment, motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.